Ladies and gents, welcome to UX, and this is the Air Force is doubling down on B-21 production. Yeah, B-21 Raider, America's new stealth bomber, is apparently progressing so well that Air Force is looking to dramatically ramp up production in months ahead. After what happened with the B-2, I mean that's not much of a surprise, is it? Yeah, I mean how B2 like okay, it's against Iran. It's not like it's China or Russia, but it's still like Iran couldn't detect B2, and like B2 came and went. Nobody could do shit. So yeah, then that's B2. That's very old plane. B-21 is literally like much more advanced version of it, right? And it's smaller, I guess. So yeah, it's better stealthier. So B2 is like it's such a psychological effect using B2. Like there's no plane like it. There's only plane that could have used like bunker buster like that. Only plane who could have be the way it was. And B-21 is just going to be another version of that. So there is a psychological element behind it. So yeah, B-21 is a flex, isn't it? I mean, China's trying to do it with the H-20. Like, can they do it? Can they not do it? But that is a place to do it, right? And B-21 is so good. They're saying like, okay, this could even do like air-to-air combat if needed from the distance. It's like, what more could you want? So yeah, let's go this one.
The B-21 Raider, America's new stealth bomber, is apparently progressing so well that the Air Force is looking to dramatically ramp up production in the months ahead. Now, I've been consistently hearing that B-21 testing's been going extremely well, but I wasn't quite ready to buy it until the recent budget reconciliation bill added another $4.5 billion in 2026 for, quote, B-21 manufacturing capacity acceleration, effectively doubling the program's 2026 budget, with nearly half of those funds specifically aimed at speeding up that rate of production. Now, the B-21 Raider is Northrop Grumman's follow-up to the legendary B-2 Spirit, currently the world's only operational stealth bomber, which drew headlines for its bunker-busting strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities just a few weeks ago.
This is literally like how anything works, whether it's in like military or like any kind of like corporation. If you can show something, show of strength or show of anything, that will amp up the whatever thing it is. So B2 is literally like the predecessor, right, of B-21. That is what B-21 is supposed to replace, right? So B2 being so old now, like multi-decade old, and there is no other plane like it. It's literally the only plane on the planet which is like stealth bomber, and flexing like that in front of Iran, like using bunker buster, and the way Trump did it, right? I mean, obviously this is going to be one of those things like, okay, with all the talks and all the arguments, let's put all that aside. Look at this shit. If you can show something, like no talk is needed. So people are like, yeah, let's ramp up B-21 production. Yeah, we're gonna need it, especially with like Taiwan thing, and who knows what threats gonna rise up, especially with the recent issues with Russia, Ukraine, right? Iran, and now also like Middle East getting unstable. There was like Cambodia and Malaysia was just attacking. I don't know what happened there. Like shit is ramping up all around the world. Wars are increasing. Suddenly, it's like one domino falls, all falls. And first domino was basically Russia, Ukraine. As soon as COVID ended, Russia, Ukraine thing started, and that's it. Dominoes falling now. So of course, US gonna think like, yeah, we need to amp up all this shit.
Ago. The B-2 is still seen as among the stealthiest aircraft on the planet. But despite its futuristic looks, these bombers have been in service since before Google was a thing. The B-21 promises to obviously offer a big increase in stealth, while all
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is like, I don't know. I think Elon Musk was also talking about it a few years ago or something. Elon Musk is not expert at this, but still, like he's something. Like there is certain AI models and like visual detection you can manipulate if you're advanced enough country like China, right? Major countries, top 5 countries around the world like Russia, China, probably, like if you can manipulate like certain AI models, visual things and visual pictures with enough cameras, there is a decent chance you can kind of pinpoint where B2 is. B2 is not that stealthy because it's so big, and just in the end of the day, it's a huge plane. So with just right modern enough enemy, that could be a problem if there is certain system is already underway, but nobody knows about it because most military secrets are secrets for all countries like China and every other. So you don't know, like Iran is different thing. Like Iran isn't like top military. Using something against top military, yeah, B2 is like, so you need B-21. This is why B-21 is smaller, right? And there's going to be many things inside. They'll be like, they're already thought of, like, okay, what if somebody uses AI? Or what if somebody uses visual, AI and visual model to pinpoint something? How are we going to mask this? I bet when B-21 comes out, we'll know like how many different things and how many different designs B-21 uses.
Also adding a broad array of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, or ISR capabilities, along with the requisite hardware to serve as a networked command asset to control and coordinate drones and crewed fighters all throughout the battle space. In essence, the B-21's a lot more than a new stealth bomber. It's also a new spy plane, a new command and control asset, and based on some reports, may even be the first bomber to carry and employ its own air-to-air missiles. The Air Force currently has plans to buy at least 100 B-21 Raiders to replace its 19 B-2 Spirits and 45.
Okay, let's think about this. 100 B-21s, man. Do you know how insane that is? This is not an F-35 plane. This is not some multi-purpose plane. This is a stealth fucking bomber. 10 B-2 bombers went there and like shook Iran up. And that's 10. They're saying like, oh, we need 100 and who knows more after that shit. 100 B-21s are like insanity. If this was World War II scene, you know that like, I'm pretty sure I reacted to a video like it's very old. Pretty sure it has a really high view in like in my list. Like sounds of World War II and sounds of Vietnam War. And there are sort of like this like hordes of bombers coming down, the brrr sound and shit. Like swarm of bomber coming. Imagine if that shit was B-21. How horrifying that was. And these are not just bomber, by the way. This could have Air-12 missiles. This could be spy planes. This could be mothership in itself with many other drones and other F-47 planes and shit. Do you know how scary that shit is?
Remaining B-1B Lancer supersonic bombers, but several Air Force officials, like U.S. Strategic Command's General Anthony Cotton, have already gone on record to say that the branch will likely boost that order to 145 in the years ahead, which again is another strong signal that B-21 testing and production at Northrop Grumman's Palmdale, California facility is going awfully well. Now, a lot of this success can be attributed to the B-21's extensive testing in virtual environments, which allowed Northrop to work out a lot of the kinks that would usually dominate the first year or so of flight testing, along with another 1,000 plus hours of system testing for the bomber's avionics that were conducted in an undisclosed testbed aircraft. And that testbed aircraft really could be anything. Boeing famously used a modified 757 airliner as a testbed for the F-22 Raptor's avionics. Now, building a heavy payload bomber with all this capability crammed into it takes a lot more time and resources than, say, a small fighter like the F-35. So while it's not uncommon for Lockheed to pump out more than 100 F-35s a year across its various production facilities, B-21 production numbers are expected to be more like 7 or so bombers per year through the 2030s. And it's still not clear if this...
I'm pretty sure like you can't really compare F-35. It's just not just by sheer size. I mean, obviously size is there. But with the size, many complications arises, like different type of, like mechanical things that you're using because of the size, right? And obviously many stealthier things that are inside that the F-35 is not going to have because you don't need it. It's such a small plane. So, and also like certain elements that you need, I guess from China and something, it's not going to be so easy to just acquire, right? So it's like this real production, like it's not about just manpower and factory equipments. There's many elements there. Like, yeah, you can't just churn out a lot of B-21 like that.
This multi-billion-dollar infusion into the program is aimed at increasing the number of bombers that can be built per year immediately, or is aimed at reaching the total number of bombers they intend to procure at a slightly faster rate, which just could manifest a bit differently depending on how it all hashes out. If the goal is to increase production capacity per year right away, that might mean expanding Northrop's production facilities beyond their famed Plant 42. But it could theoretically just be a matter of producing more tooling and training more personnel. At this point, it's honestly tough to say either way. But one thing we can say for sure is that the Air Force seems to be very happy with what it's seeing out of the B-21 program, which is a, well, pleasant change of pace for big ticket stealth jets.
Yeah, there you go. See, the problem with any engineering and science is like it's never about the actual thing or actual science or actual engineering. Hurdles are usually something else. It's usually budget, Congress, and shit like that. With Trump basically doing with B2 and like actually changing the budget, I'm pretty sure he added like 100 or 200 billion to military budget now, which is gonna like do this. So once you say like, okay, there is a like thumbs up from like Congress, like okay, you have more money now, do your thing. Like there is never going to be an issue. Yeah, like military will just throw, Air Force just basically throw money at like North, like fuck it, make more factories. Just increase things because engineers don't have problems like that. These are top tier people with multiple degrees and like doctorates and shit. With many people like that, the chain of command is like that. This is not going to be like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? That's not the question they're ever gonna ask. They already know what to do. But it's like how much you gonna like shackle us. If you unshackle them a lot, like yeah, it's gonna be ramp up pretty faster. So it just makes sense with the recent budget bill and yeah, how this is ramping up. Air Force like, yeah, we're gonna do this, yeah, because of course you can just throw some more money at it. And like, yeah, you already have engineers, you already have production, so yeah, it's gonna make sense. Alright, well, that was Air Force doubling down on B-21 production. Yeah, B-21 is basically going to be a flagship technology because in all the technology you can show, air dominance is the biggest show of force there is, and in air dominance, there's nothing like a stealth bomber, especially like B-21. So yeah, this is going to be your flagship thing when you show off. It's like Volkswagen has Bugatti, some Chiron or something to show off. This is your Bugatti Chiron. Alright, well, I'll see you next time.